So I got to go in next week to sign my releases for Social Security, and I have an appointment with my provider. So hopefully we'll get something done for the hearing on the 4th. I still haven't really looked at your news yet today. I'm sort of like huddled in a tent, and my sciatic is acting up. It's 1:30. It's still raining. Last I checked the radar, it had changed to 2:30. So I had to get up and walk to the restroom. That actually helps. So I'm waiting to be able to stand upright um, and walk around a little bit, loosen that up. Um, that's about it. Brian's still laying down. Can't blame him. It's a very small tent. You can sort of sit up, but if we were both sitting up, you're just sort of like. I can't knock the tent. It was a donation, and it's clearly all-weather tent. Yeah, just anytime there's a little bit of water coming in on a corner or something, you can tell why. It's from having the thing unzipping and stuff. Yeah. It doesn't have an overhang like I don't know if you can even see it, but I fashioned. No, because it's facing the other way. Hold on. I did this with the pull from the other tent with the piece of plastic, so that gives me somewhat of an overhang. Well, the temperature is definitely dropped. I'm in this tent. It's very warm in here. Not like uncomfortably warm, but I'm in a t-shirt. But I did notice when I walked to the bathroom, that's a pretty drastic temperature change from yesterday. So we'll see how it is in Harvard when I get back there tomorrow. Friday morning, I got to go to the post office. We typically end up in Quincy because I return bottles there. It's a short walk from my storage, and it's easier to get on the train there. So I don't know about Friday morning, but probably Saturday morning. Oh, here comes a bunch of rain. Probably Saturday morning. I think we discussed when we get back tomorrow, we'll switch out our gear to our sleeping stuff for our outside sleeping. And then we won't go back to our storage probably at all Friday, I'm thinking, because it's also a day that the library closes early. I mean, I guess it gives us something to do, go back and forth, till we can lay down to sleep. So we might, if we feel like it. I'm thinking it's going to be about noontime, and then do we really feel like dumping the stuff off and then coming back? I usually don't feel like carrying my shit around all day, but we've done it. Yeah, I think I discussed before I was going to do it on the days where the library closes early because we have all those hours. So maybe. It seems like a hassle, but you're either doing that or you're just sitting there, and as the temperature gets colder, yeah, you're not really going to want to do that. So it's not summertime anymore. Yeah, isn't it supposed to be really cold tomorrow night too? Yeah, so probably go back to the storage after the post office. Oh yeah, Friday is Friday Cafe. I'd have to miss Friday Cafe if I do that. I'm thinking I'll plan to not do that. And the planning is you just don't do it. Right. It's oh, that's the thing. I might not have a choice but to do it because what happens is when it's cold, I got to have my blankets and not just my sleeping bag. And then there's like a dew that forms on it, and it's like slightly wet. And if I hang it up in my storage during the day, it dries by the next night. So I hate to miss Friday Cafe, but if it comes down to it, we might have to. I can only wait so long to apply for the passports because it takes a while to get them, and then we're stressed out a little bit about if there's going to be a problem with my meal. So I'm going to discuss it with the post office, which they may not have an answer for me. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a system set up for people to pick up a passport somewhere, then you're targeting the homeless, most definitely. Um, it's not exactly St. Francis House's fault if something's going on where I'm not getting my meal, and then you have 4 people to blame. Yeah, I've been told several times by Social Security they're mailing stuff there, and I'm not getting into who I'm supposed to believe and who I'm supposed to be mad at. Tired of it. Someone's forwarded my mail illegally, Social Security's lying, St. Francis House is taking my mail. It doesn't make any sense because Brian gets his mail. So one good thing is the MBTA listened, and I can go pick up my reduced Charlie card because I've ordered. First of all, it was nullified, and I explained how that could have actually been our fault because the cards don't have names on them. Right. So maybe this time when I get it, I will write down or take a mental note of at least the last 2 numbers so I know which one is mine. We got our cards at the same time last year. He had one, I had one. And then he lost all his stuff, so we ordered another card for him. And it's possible he had my card. So they shut off my card and sent another card to him. I know you would think that they would have said, that's not your card. That's cards like, yeah, so maybe that's not what happened. No, that does make sense that that's what's happened. Right. I had his card accidentally. He had mine. He lost mine. He ordered another one for himself, so it shut off the one I had. Okay, yeah, that does make sense. So then I ordered another one. Of course, I never got it to Broad Street. They refused to give me mail there. Then I ordered another one to St. Francis House. And what they sent me was a Charlie card because they have 2 cards there. Right. I don't know the number on the card. If I lost it or stolen, I don't know which number is the right number. And it becomes tiresome. Clearly, one of them's a reduced fare and the other one's not. Like the second I looked at that thing and went, what the fuck is this? It's a regular Charlie card. So anyways, when I tried to order it a third time, apparently they probably went, something is up here. Why are we sending out so many cards? I just explained it. So I just got an email this morning that it proved it because it was pending and I can pick it up. That solves that problem. Okay. No, that's fine. I will go pick it up with my ID. Yeah, this has been a nightmare. I have not had, it's got to be at least since what? Last winter when Brian had to get a new card and they nullified it. I have not had one since then. And then you have people that are telling people they're going to block me from getting on a train. It's hard enough to pay a reduced fare. Right, just. Anyways, yes. So in an emergency, I'll have it. Okay. Some people don't think that we should pay it all because we're homeless and destitute, that the reduced fare cards are for the working class because it's expensive. Right, that's what it's intended for. Whereas homeless people should have a card that you ding it, but you're not paying anything. But talk about theft and fraud at that point. Yeah, they could do it if we had to pick it up and show a photo ID. And then you've got to report when it's lost or stolen, like immediately. And if you ever got caught selling those things to people, you're never getting another one again. And they'll just shut it off. Yeah, I mean, it could work, but that requires more time and effort by other people. But that's the easiest way to solve that problem. You have to go to a Charlie card store with your photo ID and pick it up. Okay, and then just know this: if someone ever sells you a card like that, expect it to be shut off. I don't know if the MBTA has a machine where they scan it, like just random checks and scan it, and that better be you. What are you doing with somebody else's card? No one, it's like Judge Judy. No one cares at this point if someone sold it to you. You know what you're doing isn't legal. Just like Snap Food. They found a way to they sent out an army of people to catch you people doing that. They might decide to do it with these cards. That's why tap cards have a photo on them, or they used to, for the disabled, because we're both disabled too. Right, they have a photo. You can't just steal and buy someone's tap card. But with these reduced fares, it's definitely wrought with problems because there's no photo on it. Anyway, preying upon the poor and the destitute, not nice. Anybody. I think that it should be worse for the person who's buying the SNAP thing, not the person selling it. So that was good. That solves that problem. After I shut this off, I'll check the radar again. For rain, yeah. Cruise news. Mexican Riviera. The hold has been removed. Or it's within hours of being removed. Anyways, I think I see some like regular sunlight, maybe regular daylight. And then I've got to look in my backpack that I put in the trash bag and hope that it didn't get wet because all my clothes are in it. And then I'm sitting here going, did I actually put a shirt in there? Or like in a t-shirt and I do have 2 jackets, but you go, did I literally not put like a long sleeve shirt in there? It's difficult even when you look at a weather forecast. It's difficult when it's 82 degrees, okay? And then you're packing and you don't want to carry more than you have to, and you're looking at a weather report that it's going to go into the 40s. Yeah, it's not as much of a priority as it should be, for sure. So tomorrow morning is going to be chilly, but we're going to be walking. So even if we're a little bit cold, we have to walk 4 miles to the bus stop, and it won't be raining. So I think I reported the thing where the laptop doesn't work with the hotspot, and it's probably my laptop. It's probably not the hotspot because that's the laptop where all kinds of crazy crap is going on. So carried that thing all the way here for nothing. We did. He had to do his on my phone. The woman called, and then I do it on my phone when I have to. The telehealth. So. I was actually going to go out to Dedham next Thursday, but seeing my provider, given my condition and my hearing is on the 4th, I'm going to go there. And then maybe next Friday. So if by some miracle my sister contacts us, because I don't want to keep bothering her, if she decides, if she gets home from her vacation, sees the weather, and then decides to invite us there for a couple of days, I'll have to find a way to get back to Quincy that day. So, because I think it's actually Is it about that time that it's? I could go to the appointment and then I could wait until Thursday to go. I don't think it's. I'm all mixed up because the weather has changed so many times. Yesterday they said it wasn't going to rain; it was going to be sunny all week, and now they're back to saying it's going to rain for 4 days. So if it goes back and forth, you just go, "What am I looking at?" Okay, I will figure it out. I'm sure she'll. If I had to, she'd drive me to the train. I'd take the train to my appointment and come back, and she'd pick me up. She used to drive us when she had a better vehicle. She used to drive us last year to and there was a lot of them. She'd drive all the way out to Quincy. A friend of hers drove us to an appointment. So that can't be a permanent thing because they threatened to evict her last year. So I'm not going to be responsible for my sister being evicted from her public housing. My therapist mentioned the weather. She's been doing that the last few sessions, I noticed. So people are definitely aware of it. So I would recommend looking up stuff about thermonuclear weapons and try to weed through the crap from when they keep talking about Japan. It's not 1945. In the beginning years, you were asked if you had satellites in 1945. I'm pretty sure, didn't you go into space in the 1960s? Okay, so it's a different technology, folks. It's not 1945. Okay. And that it didn't exactly cause a fire. It's because all of the buildings were made of straw and stuff. It lit things on fire. And when you have a fireball in the upper atmosphere, you're not getting a fireball, you're getting ionizing radiation. It's intended to maintain the infrastructure. Because the rest of your transition plan has to continue forward. You can't change all. You can't. So, from my point of view, you were just told what's going to happen. It wasn't really a vote, and then you decide to do it because your population is going to decline at such a rapid rate. Okay. And then I explained about the people with the higher learning won't be able to provide all those services anymore via pay and incentives. They will be moved to the phase out area. That's where the services are going to be. That's where the world is going to keep spinning. I think originally it was actually going to rain all night, and it didn't start raining till 8 o'clock this morning. Right, like it was gonna. It keeps going back and forth and back and forth. Like it was gonna rain. It was gonna end at 10 a.m. So it's good for the people that are outside, right? Because they got to get up at 5 o'clock, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So it didn't start raining until 8, and then the library opens at 9. Smith Center opens at 7. Star Market's open. Okay, they have a place to go to get out of the rain and stay warm until the rain stops. So everything isn't 100% always about me. Ugh. Well, we're approaching what, 1:30 2 o'clock. Starting to feel a little bit nauseous because I haven't eaten. Excuse me. Well, Brian was smart enough to get himself some chicken wings, and I was kind of like not even hungry. I was so tired. And I ate chicken the day before, and I ate so much. I was like, couldn't even fathom eating chicken again for a day or two. I was craving chicken for like 3 days. I finally got it. There was no mayonnaise. I put ricotta cheese on it, so I ate twice as much as I intended. And then I was like, oh, and that's all I ate until last night. Oh, that's a good sign. We got animals making noises. So this site doesn't flood either. I noticed. I was concerned because the ground was so hard that it wouldn't drain. Put my little jacket on. Usually the way back from something goes by faster, so hopefully the way back. And some of it is an incline on the way here. So I'm thinking in my mind as I'm walking in the incline with all that weight, I go, well, at least I'm going downhill on the way back. How do I have one of your socks on my lap right now? Well, let's hope that trash bag held out with the backpack with all my clothes in it. I know I brought thermos and a pair of jeans, and I'm going. I don't even think I packed a long sleeve shirt. And then we still have to do laundry. We decided to wait till after we get the passports because there's all kinds of confusion about what exactly it's going to cost us. The post office made it way more confusing than it needs to be. Like the State Department saying it's $35 on your end. That's what the State Department's telling me. Okay. So it's 130 plus 35 is your processing fee, right? And then you're charging us for photos, which the State Department didn't exactly. I think they say they might. That's another $15. So that's $30, right? You weren't knowing you had to pay. Not everyone has globs of money or has credit cards. Then the other thing too is they're saying that you cannot pay the State Department with a debit or credit card. You have to use a money order, but you can purchase a money order at the post office, which of course is not a federal agency. Okay. And that's not a hardship for homeless hostage destitutes to acquire passports. Well, some of it's done intentionally, and honestly, um, I think we should just pay it, hostages. Okay, because I'll explain to you about the mass IDs that they have a set amount of money, right? And then we're supposed to say we can't afford to pay $25 or $50, right? But then the money goes to these bastards at Father Bill's place, okay? And then they will have you sitting there for months waiting for a check to get an ID. And I've seen them do it, I think, twice to me. They've done it at least once where because I had an income, when you don't have an income, you have no choice but to sit there waiting. Uh, when you finally pay for the thing, then they say they have a check, and you go, I don't need it. I already bought it because the check is written out to the registry. It's not written out to you. So that becomes pointless. I don't think we want to do that with passports. Now, I don't know, and I certainly don't want to say anything negative about um, the creme de la creme of shelters. Don't get me wrong, because it may have just been a mix up. I was never specifically told that my passport was going to be paid for by them. It was suggested by the caseworker that it might because it's a form of ID, and then she was waiting to get approved for it. And then I never heard a thing again about it. Okay. So I don't know if I think they just have a budget, and then they decide what they're using it for. So, as far as I know, there is no people that have been paid money to then pay for our passports, because we can't just get it free. We can't just show up there and sit homeless and get it free. The money has to go to somebody else. I don't want to do that anymore. I'd rather just use my income to pay for it. Just like, don't just let them keep charging me for a fake electric bill. What the fuck do I care? Do not give these people fucking free utilities again like we're in COVID. Just the straight out money. Get it? The straight out money, as I keep trying to explain to the criminally deranged, just tell them how much money you want. Stop using the hostages as an excuse for your utter madness. Because you should see that there's no reason for you to hold hostages. They will probably keep paying that shelter if no one's in it. Texas Chainsaw, you're making up shit for your criminal insanity. That could be why Governor Baker and Governor, is it Hurley, said, no, we're not shutting off their funding. Nope. You got to get all those hostages out of there and then just keep paying these people for an empty building and let them keep telling themselves that they're not insane. All they ever had to do was say, like I told you, we want this amount of money. Okay? Because then you'll see that they just keep trying to acquire hostages because it's a sickness in the head that doesn't even have to do with money. Right? You go, if you make up a thing and you do it to me and then you tell people you want your student loans paid off, no. And then you're out in the streets and you're telling students to protest on my behalf, no. No. Pay your student loans. I don't have to go to fucking college. Get it? Pay your electric bill. I don't have an electric bill and I don't care about fucking credit. Get it? That is not why you're being paid money. You're being paid money to keep you calm while you're being nuked for treason and crimes against humanity, and you're also in a mass extinction. It's both things. You would have been in a mass extinction anyway, and you could have just followed a transition plan and let your children and your grandchildren live a lifespan, but you folks decided not to do that. You couldn't put a cap on your criminal insanity, so now everybody's lives are being shortened. That is the simple fact of what is going on planet Earth. If the it seems to me that the DTA office gave out the incomes, use that to buy your photo IDs and your passports, please. You have a reduced Charlie card. Clearly, there's people that help the homeless out at the trains and stuff. So just leave it at that. That's why I was upset about the reduced fares. I explained it. There's a whole population of them. And I explained it about the student loans. Even with free college, these people made up a way to block me from going to fucking college and found another way where they thought they were going to get money and get something free. They're criminals. Brutal sociopathic criminals. You know how many vouchers in apartment complexes were built because they will not stop keeping people hostage? It doesn't help us. It doesn't help us. Okay? They're going to learn to just ask for money and not deny people something and then ask for money. They're going to learn so they can enter into acceptance for the rest of their time here. Usually with the diagnosis, people get slightly better. And until the end when they start forgetting things. And it depends on how psychopathic they are. You're not getting money because of the hostages. You're being given money to keep you calm during a thermonuclear war, as you call it, and your mass extinction because you like money and that keeps you calm. That's what you cling to. So the fact that they didn't forgive your student loans is a good sign where they're finally going to fucking listen. And they apparently, I don't believe they actually halted vouchers. I think it's similar to when they said that skimmers were taking stealing our money right out of our DTA account. Not they took our card. Nope. Because I explained about a year later, they admitted it was them that did it. And they probably got rid of those people. And the explanation at the time was that we had to pay back Social Security. I just got the money in April. I wasn't approved for Social Security. That's not why you did it. I believe they did it because I left Quincy. That's what I believe they did, because they still thought that I was a boron fucking shit out there when I'm not. So the more hotter it gets and the more they get a cough and then they get retraction, it gets real cold, maybe they'll realize it ain't got nothing to do with holding hostages. The whole land piece. They are not going to halt nuclear weapons because you're keeping a person that was ever created hostage in your city. Not going to happen. That would be the stupidest thing, the stupidest thought process on earth. We don't die. We just pass on to another life. You folks die because it's the end of your cycling, the end of your species. Duh. You thought resurrection and the promise of the Father meant that they wouldn't nuke us here? That's really insane of thought. That becomes the perfect hostage. They won't nuke those people that don't die. Anyways, God makes it make sense, I guess. Like the Germans, but why did they bomb Japan? You can imagine how bad it got in Japan that they did that. So coincidentally, because no, I didn't know this, I put a hold on a Mexican Riviera cruise, and my hold is about to expire. And now there's a big storm out there, and a cruise ship has to stay out at sea for 2 more days because they can't go to port. Well, it sucks for the people that were supposed to be getting on that ship. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're probably gonna have to give you a bunch of onboard credit. Is it a 3-day cruise and they can only board it for 1 day? Yeah, it just sucks for everyone. But the people on the ship are probably like, we just got 2 more days. But if you booked a flight, And then they're going to keep telling you to get in travel insurance. You just go, really? The airlines are going to go, we can't do anything for you because why don't you have travel insurance? I've never known the airlines to do that to a weather due event. Right? You go, it's so bad our ship can't port. I don't think flights are flying. I had to do this when I went to Ireland because I was living in Florida. I'm pretty sure it was January. There was a big snowstorm in the Northeast, and my flight had to go from Orlando to JFK. So I had to change a European vacation because of it. And not only was the airline obviously fine because they canceled the flights, so were the people in Ireland. They were super nice about it. They can see the weather, right? So it was no problem at all changing it, and I didn't have travel insurance. So that becomes kind of you're an asshole at that point. Um, Someone said something about someone had like a death in the family or a medical something, and then they wouldn't change their cruise and travel insurance. I don't know. I'd have to know from the cruise line what happened. I didn't attempt to do it. Yeah, I would have been surprised if they charged me the $200 to change my trip, given the circumstances. I would have been surprised, but I can be surprised. Yeah, like when I called to get the last price drop, and I was told it was a flash deal, so I couldn't. I never called back again to talk to a different person, but I bet you a bunch of people did, and they got the what? What was it? $69. It was something. It was small. It might have only been like $30 or something. So I've noticed now. Oh, I haven't checked today, but I noticed rather than my cruise dropping at the 90-day final payment, it went up. It's like $400 more, so it must be selling well. And they're still selling interior guarantees, which is nice. So I'm fine with not knowing what my cabin is, even the day if they tell me the day I get on board what it is, I'm fine with that. It really doesn't matter. It's an interior guarantee. Just, that's fine. Because I want them to sell what they can sell and then assign my cabin. Yeah, that's fine. Like, why would I need to know it? Right. It's an interior guarantee. Why would I need to know what it is before I get on board? Yeah, that's the South Pacific one. They have you book it. Like it's an ocean view and they have you pick it. Yeah, so that is what it is. I'm sure they can still upgrade you. Disney did it to my sister and my mother. Um, I think my mother might have been in a wheelchair or something. They actually upgraded. I think they had two cabins. They actually upgraded them to a balcony. Maybe they only had one. Yeah, they upgraded them to a balcony. I had two, was it portholes or just interiors because of all the children? We had two cabins. I'm thinking we did interiors. Back then, for a 7 day in the Caribbean, it was $10,000 for 8 people. Tax return? Tax return. That's how we did it. And then I wanted to do a transatlantic because it was about the same price, but you would have to pull your children out of school for a week, so I never did it. But I wanted to do it. I did 2 Disney cruises with the children, and then I took 2 of my children on like a 3 or 4 day because their birthdays were in July and September. So I faceted an excuse to go on another cruise. And I took them to Atlantis. That was fun. I'm pretty sure there was a baseball game one of the nights too. So, and then we took them on. I think it was a Royal Caribbean for a week because I know we did. They did the flow rider and stuff. I looked at Norwegian a bunch of times. I was gonna book a Norwegian cruise, and it just never happened. So never took them on a Carnival. I would never take children on a Carnival cruise. No. Disney or Royal Caribbean. I actually wanted to try to rent a house in Ireland and take the children there, just a cottage or something. So, wanted to take my daughter to Paris when she graduated from high school, stuff like that. One of those people. Yep. It doesn't cost him. It didn't then. It cost $1 million. I went to Paris myself. That's why some of these cruises you go, what? No. It's nice to have food included, but if you can live on street food. I never eat in any restaurants in Paris. No. We went to Rabbit Rabbit, which is like Little Caesars, and then you eat crepes on the street. You need more than tortillas with cheese on them and ham or Nutella for 8 days and pizza. I think what spurred me wanting to take the cruise too is after going to Orlando with my husband, um, and just everything that we went through, and Disney being that much money, we literally didn't even have money to eat. Oh yeah, we went the whole day without eating anything, and we had 2 plastic bottles we filled up with water. So I went, never again. That's, I think, what spurred me to book a cruise. I just went, never again. Everyone knows how much the food is at Disney, and it's worse every year because people have to make $50 an hour, like they're the new auto union. Never again am I doing that to my husband for a vacation. Nope. He wants to lay down. He wants to sleep in. He wants to eat food. Right. He can't drink. He knows that. If they had a sober cruise, I'd take it, but it would be 4 times the cost. So, yeah, like this Legends of the Seas thing, I don't even know what I would do because at some point in time you go, well, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, maybe I should think about buying a trailer or renting a trailer. Right. This trip is sort of like, all right, I'm calling you people's bullshit at this point, and I am not collecting money in a bank account when you have raft, and you won't give me fucking housing anyway. No person can rent something in Massachusetts for $400 a month and pay utilities. They can't even rent anything for that kind of money. So really, enough with this bullshit about Dedham Housing has sent me a fucking screening letter. I don't care. There's other housing authorities. Get it? I explained it. These people know that I was in a house in Dedham like that. After I should have been in emergency fucking housing, people should have been finding out what was going on with my children, alimony, all of that. But no, it was okay for me to exist in a room like that for 10 fucking years, and then you force me the fuck out of it to the literal street. And then when I apply for housing to you 2 years in a row, you don't even respond to me. I grew up in Dedham in the same house. I was forcibly evicted when I'm not the homeowner. I wasn't required to pay rent or a mortgage. And you still won't give me fucking housing. So you can go fuck yourselves. There's other housing authorities. Seriously. It's fucking champ. That's how you know you're deranged because no other city or town has done that. Not one single one of them has asked me for a document. They don't do it till they're going to offer you an apartment. Just like I went through the housing lotteries, that's the time where you prove everything you said in the application, which you can't do that by typing in a computer. Really, enough. Release yourselves, make up a fucking excuse, and just go away now. Pending. Pending the first fucking train out of here when I get Social Security and my husband gets Social Security, or both. And then I'm out of your hair completely, and you don't have to keep making up these fucking excuses. Oh, yeah, I guess they got Social Security and left. Yeah, that's why we never housed them, God. That's why we ignored a fucking Holocaust, God. We thought somebody else was doing it. We're the housing authority, but we thought somebody else was doing it. Thank God for people like Casper who have a van. Oh, yeah. My friend does it. Text them and they drive up and hand you a fucking sandwich and a bottle of water. Some of the other vans have like underwear and shit too. There's people that they're probably spending all of their money because they have a church and they're rolling a thing to Smith's to give people food and water. Right. You just go, oh my God. Yeah. Legends of the Seas dropped to 10 grand on that. Getting too old for this shit compilation. Ugh. They would facet another thing. I'm not even going to live to be, what is it, 67 now? I'm not even going to live that long. You got people getting in there the second that they're retired and they live there for 30 fucking years. Some of them go right from public housing, become elderly, and then go right into elderly housing. Whole fucking life doing it. I love how, like, every time I started to actually question my own sanity, my friend Karen goes, and Ron DeSantis, Casey DeSantis. Yeah, thank you. Because she's probably needs to know that information too. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, obviously. I think it might have stopped raining, babe. You all right? Hey, you okay? Okay. I think it might have stopped raining. I'm gonna shut this off and check the radar. It's been almost an hour. Now I hear something. It's probably just wind because I need to check my stuff and see if my clothes are wet.